Welcome to Scone Baking Beyond. Hi, I'm Kathy, and I really enjoy making scones, muffins, cookies, and all sorts of delicious baked goodies. Valentine's Day is coming up, and my husband really likes raspberries and dark chocolate. So I thought I would make him some heart-shaped raspberry macarons. And I thought I would share this recipe with you too. So let's bake. So one key thing about making macarons is all of your ingredients need to be measured by weight instead of by volume. So you will need a kitchen scale. So I've already measured all my ingredients. So we'll start with the dry ingredients. And the first thing I need is 150 grams of powdered sugar. So I'll put this in the bowl. And again, I've already weighed all these ingredients. And then I need 124 grams of almond flour. And we need, this is one time we do get to measure by volume because 2 teaspoons of raspberry powder has no weight to it. So 2 teaspoons of raspberry powder. I think we'll have raspberry powder. I think it'll come out. There we go. There we go. And this, I'm just going to give it a nice little stir with my whisk. Get all the ingredients stirred up. Then I'm going to bring this bowl back. And now, macarons are still a little bit picky. I need to sift these ingredients together. So I'm just going to put a little bit in at a time. There we go. And we'll sift these ingredients together. Get our last little bit in. There we go. Okay, let's get our last little bit in here. There we go. And when we get done, you're going to still see a little bit of leftover little clumps, and that's okay. Some of them you can kind of push down, and others, if you have about a teaspoon or so of little clumps, it's okay. You can just toss those. So there we are. We have our dry ingredients together. So now it's time to put our wet ingredients together. For macarons, we're going to make a French meringue. So first of all, you need to start with a very clean mixing bowl and very clean whisk. So make sure that you use either a stainless steel, a glass, or a ceramic bowl. Do not use plastic because plastic will pick up some oils and that will ruin your meringue. So first of all, we start with 100 grams of egg whites. And you want these egg whites at room temperature, otherwise your meringue will not work. And we're going to put this on kind of a low to medium speed. And once it starts getting frothy, then it's time to add our cream of tartar. So we'll get that in there. There we go. And if your cream of tartar sticks to the side of the bowl, just go down with your spatula and get that into the egg whites. There we go. We start again on a kind of a low medium speed until we see those egg whites start leaving a trail. So now my egg whites are leaving a trail. So it's time to start adding the sugar a little at a time. And turn this up to high. Okay, let's see what these peaks look like. All right, These peaks are still a little bit soft. I'll show you. Get this off of here. Get this mixed up. When I pull this and it flops over, that's a soft peak, and that's not ready yet. We want to get to stiff peaks. So let's get this back on. Let's go again. So let's see what we have here. Oh, this is looking pretty good. We're almost there, I think. So I give this nice little mix around and I pull it up. That's still almost stiff peaks, still a little bit soft, but we are at the point, if you're going to add food coloring, this is the point in which you want to add your food coloring. Because one thing you don't want to do is overbeat these egg whites. So I want 3 to 4 drops. So let's see, 1, 2, let's put in 4. Let's really make these red. This is a red food coloring gel. You don't want to use the regular food coloring that you can just buy in the grocery store. You want a special cake decorating red food coloring gel. Okay, let's see how oh, that's looking really good. There we go. This is going to be nice stiff peaks, nice pretty color. So you mix that around. When you pull it up, see, that's a stiff peak, that's staying up. The other way you can tell is that if I take my mixing bowl, I put this and I lift it upside down, nothing comes out. If I put it on my head, nothing comes out. It's always a scary moment, but that works. So we're going to take that off and then we're going to put in our dry ingredients. Okay, so now it's time to put in our dry ingredients. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold in, remember the almond flour, powdered sugar, and the raspberry powder. We're going to put this in. We're going to put in about 1/3 at a time. And then you're going to gently fold that in. You just go up and over. You're going to circle the bowl and go up and over. Circle the bowl, go up and over. There we go. This takes a little bit, but you don't want to deflate all those wonderful egg whites. So macarons are not hard to make. They're just a little finicky to make. So I'm going to put in another 1/3. And you keep on folding. This right now is too stiff. What we're looking for is when I pull it off of here, it flows like lava. And that's not quite lava yet. So we keep on folding. That looks good. Yep, we're there. Okay. We'll put this in our piping bag and we'll start piping our hearts. So I have here a piping bag with a large 1/2-inch piping tip on it, and I crimpled this a little bit so that as I start putting the batter in there, it's not going to all start coming out the bottom. So we'll fold this over the cup here. There we go. And now we're going to put this in. Ready? Yep, we're ready. We have a figure 8. Raise this up a little bit so we get all the rest in there. All right, got that in there. And now it's time to pipe some hearts. Make a ball and just kind of pull up and make a ball and kind of pull up. There we go. Make a ball and pull up. Make a ball and pull up. Okay, those are done. Put that in there for right now. So what I have here, and I forgot to tell you ahead of time, is that before I started making my hearts, I did make a heart-shaped template here. I'll pull it out because I need to pull it out for my next baking sheet. So I went on the computer and I made 1.5 inch hearts, and they're 2 inches apart, and I just printed them out on my 8.5 by 11 inch paper, and then I just taped them together to make my template, and that's how I made my template on my computer. So just make 1.5 inch hearts and make them 2 inches apart. So now before I go make the rest of these, the next thing you want to do is you want to give these some really hard taps to get all the air bubbles out. And try not to stick your finger in your cookies. So if you see any air bubbles, you can just sit here and tap them down with your toothpick. These are now going to have to dry before we put them in the oven. Drying can take 15 minutes to an hour, depending upon sometimes the humidity and the weather outside. So now I'm going to let these dry, and what they want to be is totally dry to the touch. So I'm going to set these aside, and then when they're dry, we'll get them in the oven. Okay, our cookies have been here about 25-30 minutes, and they're pretty dry now. You can touch them and they're dry. So now it's time to put them in the oven. I have preheated my oven to 320 degrees, and we're going to cook these for 13 to 15 minutes. So meanwhile, while our cookies are in the oven, it's time to get the chocolate ganache part started. So I have here 4 ounces of bittersweet chocolate, and be sure to use a good flavored chocolate. And in it, I'm going to put 1/2 cup of cream that I had simmering on the stove. And it's just get bubbly around the edges there. And you're going to pour that on and let that just hang out for a minute. Okay, it's been a minute, and now it's time to stir this in. But we're also going to stir in 1 tablespoon of room temperature butter. And we're going to stir this till it's nice and creamy. And this is how easy chocolate ganache is to make. And chocolate ganache is what's inside truffles. But you can put it in the refrigerator for a few minutes, get it started cooling a little faster. Or you can just leave it on the counter, and every once in a while come give it a good stir. And then I'll show you what it looks like when it's ready for piping. Okay, our cookies are done. And if I was to wiggle this, see, the whole cookie will wiggle, the whole thing will wiggle. If this top wiggled separate from that bottom, then they're not done. Look at those wonderful little feet on there. Oh, these are going to be good. So let's get these off of here. We're going to let these cool. But while they're cooling, you can just pull them off, and they'll just pull right off. If they weren't to pull right off, then you could just take a little spatula with them. So what we're looking for is it doesn't just run off, it kind of clumps off. Kind of like that same lava. And it holds its shape once it drops. So we are ready to pipe this. We'll put this in our piping bag. I did the same thing with the tip. It's kind of crimped up so it doesn't just start running out on us. So now we're going to pipe out, and I have a number 12 piping tip. Anyway, we're going to pipe out kind of a heart shape on our macarons. And keep the center open. We have a little surprise to put in that center. Okay, and now the last one. And now it's time to get the wonderful chocolate surprise that's going to go inside. I have in my little Ziploc baggie about 1/4 cup of raspberry jam. And I just cut a little hole. It's about a 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch hole. And I'm just going to put a little dollop in the middle of each one of these of raspberry jam. Okay, there's the last one. So now you just squish them together, but don't squish too hard, because if you squish too hard, you might crack your cookies. So you just squish them where the chocolate starts coming out to the edges. Doesn't that look good? Okay, now that we put these together, they have to sit in the refrigerator. Actually, they're supposed to sit in the refrigerator for 24 hours, so the chocolate and the raspberry kind of starts going into the cookie a little bit. So we're going to put these in an airtight container, put them in the refrigerator, but we're not going to wait 24 hours. We're just going to let them chill down, and then we're going to try one. So these have been in the refrigerator for a few minutes just to firm up that chocolate a little bit, because I just can't wait to show you how good these are. So here we have our macaron with a wonderful feed on it and the chocolate ganache inside. Oh, I can't wait to try this. So let's try a bite. So it's got a nice crispy outside with a soft chewy inside. You get raspberry flavor in both the cookie and that jam. And you know, you can't go wrong with chocolate ganache for the filling. So that is good. Well, thank you for watching. If you like this recipe, please check it out at sconebaking.com. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below. This is really good. And thank you for watching. I'm gonna have another bite.